Alright, we're back on gaming, and I want to say this now before we get started with the video, okay? This week's videos that I'm putting up will probably be the last week that you'll get for me being on camera videos for a couple weeks. I'm keeping it close to the chest, but I've done this before, actually, during, recording, but I'm moving. And it's only a couple blocks from here. The place is really nice, really big. Almost reminds me a little bit of layout PlayStation Home. Almost for a minute. But I will say that you can't see it around here, but I got a lot of boxes around me, so I need the time to pack, get everything situated, things like that. So, I mean, like I said, real life comes first. You know how this goes. So, but I will not, I will not leave you people just in the dark. Understand that while I am not on camera, I will be still doing gameplay videos and uploading. I will finish out the Colossus for you guys and girls. And after that, some of you said that you want to see me finish Lollipop Chainsaw. That's not a problem. I can finish that. And then a lot of you have requested, since I had showed on Twitter about a month ago or so, Resident Evil Revelations. So yeah, we will dive into that as well as soon as I'm finished Shadow Colossus and I get back on Lollipop Chainsaw. I can do both at the same time. It's not that big of a deal, okay? So I just want to say that, that will be next on the dance card, so to speak. Now, you know how this goes, right? Every time, and everyone knows, like I said, there's times I've been away for like 6 months at a time, and you people were still cool, I'll come back with no problem. So I'm sure you can deal without me, you can deal without me for a couple weeks. It's not a big deal. But every time I take a break, something happens, and I come back early. It's always been like this. It's like clockwork, and I guarantee you, if I take off now for a couple weeks, so I get situated and move, because like I said, it's about real life first, getting paid, real life, take care of your business, and then I'm sure something's going to happen where I have to come back early. Like clockwork, all the time. So, anyways, let's move on. Remember last week we talked about, gamers acting a fool. And it seems like ever since I did that video last week with the FCC and stuff, that's all I've encountered, actually. I've seen, and when I did that video to FCC, this one person, it's kind of actually pathetic. And at this point, as you can see, I can't even get mad at it. It's kind of like, all right, it's getting sort of ridiculous at this point that you just got to laugh at it. We've seen in the previous week and even over the weekend, people, it's not just gamers acting a fool, but people in the industry acting a fool. And it's just like, okay, whatever at this point. Everyone thinks they're a star. Everyone, okay? So I'll put it like this. The kid got mad at me for what I said about the FCC. And I spoke about the FCC for about, 7 minutes or so, and I showed the video where those people were being dragged out of the hearing. And I showed you that. But this kid, before anything these days, it seems as though I'd rather look at people's timelines at this point and see what they're doing with other videos. And this person, his kid, went to Alpha Omega Sin's video about the FCC and was very respectful, was very cordial there. And then right after he saw that one, he came right into mine and called me a bunch of names for pretty much speaking the truth. So that's pretty much what's going on here in the community. Like I said, everyone just thinks as though they're above everything. I don't understand. Like I said, it's funny because these are the same people who tell me, you should stop making video game videos and stick with sports because I don't like your views on video games. And then when I do sports videos, you have some guys every once in a while, it doesn't happen much, but say, you should stop doing sports videos and stick with video games. You're clearly better at that. You know what I mean? It's like, how about I just do what the hell I want? How about that? Yeah, but let's keep going, okay? These are the same people who get mad at me for saying my opinion while they still, stress freedom of speech on their own, get mad at me for saying my opinion. Then when I don't speak about certain things, they get mad at me for that, And then after all that, whether they get mad at me for not saying something or saying something, they're the first to say, so when are you going to put me next video? Like, at this point, like I said, you can't even get mad at this stuff. It's more of, it's so ridiculous. You can't even write this stuff. This isn't written. You can't even write, you can't make this stuff up at this point. So I want to get started and keep going with that same phase of gamers who just act a fool. And for those who do not know what I'm talking about, a 19-year-old kid, that's right, he robs a bank. That's right, robs a bank for $1,300 and gets caught because he used the money to buy an Xbox One. Now, look, I'll put it like this. All the links that I've seen, they talk about how it's actually not the Xbox One. All of them use the header Xbox One, when in actuality they just talk about how he just bought a video game system. They're not sure which one, but everyone keeps saying Xbox One, okay? That's what I've seen. I found one link where they just say he just bought a video game system, so we're just going to stick with that. Now, the person talks about how, he has fallen on hard times. He got desperate. He was down on his luck. Look, all right, You stole $1,300 from a bank. You robbed the bank for $1,300. You spent, what, $400 or $500 on a gaming system. That's not really being down on your luck now, is it? And I put it like this, because being down on your luck, anyone's ever been down on your luck, you know you don't have any toothpaste. You know what I mean? You need to wash your clothes. You know what I mean? Your washcloths stink because you use them so much. I mean, people who are really down on their luck. You know, every month a bill is, not paid, so something's going off, the water, the electric. That's being down on your luck. All right? Robbing a bank for $1,300, which, mind you, $1,300 is nothing, because that's some people's mortgages are more, or rent is even more than $1,300. That's nothing. For this guy to say he's down on his luck and then goes and buys a video game system, which is not a necessity. Because, come on, let's be honest here. It's not. Food, clothes, shelter, that's a necessity. A video game system is not a necessity. Okay? For you to say that you're down on your luck, clearly you're not. And I don't feel bad for you for, getting caught. You deserve to get caught. It's a stupidity. But I'm sure somebody's going to say I'm wrong on that as well. Alright? Speaking of more stupidity, I want to get into this right now. We're going to talk about 2K. Okay? So let's get in this. 2K. 2K15's newest edition will help sell the game worldwide. Now you're thinking, okay, what are they going to do? Well, 2K is going to put in Euro teams. That's right. They're going to put in overseas teams for, people to play, so hopefully it sells worldwide to that market. So they're not going to fix the bugs. They're not going to fix, all the little gaps that they had. They're not even going to fix the monumental problem with online play. No. They're going to do this. Now, of course, this is a marketing strategy to make it sell well, but when you're getting all this money, 2K, why aren't you fixing the problems that gamers have been complaining about for years? I'm just wondering. Okay? However, I want to move on. That's right. I want to talk about EA. Now, people, you fans have sent me a lot of stuff on EA this week, but this one really stands out, and this is something that we're seeing that's reoccurring. Okay? This person says, hey, Event, do you know that EA is re-releasing a FIFA World Cup update for FIFA 14 after releasing a new brand? It says new brand FIFA World Cup game. Although the update is just for Ultimate Team, there's already national teams in the game. Also, there's a World Cup mode within the manager mode. It says, there really is no reason for EA to release a pointless game just to make a few extra dollars. What do you think of this? Well, you want to know what I think about this. This has been done before. EA was caught not too long ago re-releasing FIFA 12 as FIFA 13 on the Wii. Now, for people who understand that, the accusations that came with that, EA dodged those. That's right, by saying FIFA 13 has the same great gameplay, and EA felt it was important to continue to offer fans the opportunity to play an authentic football experience on the Wii. Okay? Now, Peter Moore himself said, year on year, the Wii has just dropped. It says, and clearly, we don't make games for it anymore. Okay? So, this is pretty much what they're doing. Now, for those who need a comparison for what this person is talking about with FIFA 14, I will put in the info bar the update trailer and then the FIFA 14 World Cup trailer. So you can see, each trailer and see, if, what they're doing here. This is nothing new what they're doing. This is sad, actually. All right? And they're just going to keep getting gamers for this. Just saying. That's not all. All right? EA Sports to reward NBA Live 14 Gamer of the Year. That's right. So let's get into this, because this, if you ask me, is hilarious. All right. First off, it's part of their promotional efforts. It's holding a fan voting to determine NBA Live Gamer of the Year. The competition will feature some of the game's top ambassadors. All right, and best players facing off to win 2 tickets, airfare, and hotel included to the NBA 14 finals. Okay. Now, first off, do people even play NBA Live 14? I mean, we all know it looked like junk. It looked like garbage. We know this, all right? But here's the problem. They talk about how everyone's got their money on this one gamer because he played the game for 24 hours straight. That's the reason why you're putting him on the top of the list? Look, let's get something straight here, okay? I don't understand why people keep doing this. And what I mean is about, using this type of sports to try and sell it and make these gamers feel like they're bigger than what they really are. If you play a game for 24 hours straight, I can understand if it was like for a charity or something, because it's going for a good cause. I understand that. But if you're playing for 24 hours straight, that's nothing. That means nothing to me. Okay? You played it. We going to brag about it? I dare you to go to a basketball court and brag that you play NBA Live 14 for 24 hours straight. I guarantee you the first response to somebody would be, who's a competitor on a basketball court, would say, so you spent 24 hours playing on a basketball court, but you didn't spend any time on your real game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it would go. You have to understand the sports community is completely different than the video game community. They will still play those games, but they also work on a real game. And for this person to sit around and play it for 24 hours, that's kind of laughable. Like I said, I understand if people want to play these games, like if it's raining out, like people, you know, some people just don't like to go out when it rains or it snows or it's too cold or their gyms are closed or things of that nature. So I understand why people still play these games, okay? That's fine. I have no problem with that. But when you're more than capable, and this person's from California, so he's more than capable of just going out and going to a court and playing basketball, all right? And for EA to try and use that person, all right, to pretty much promote their product, it's kind of shameful. It is. And we've seen EA in the past try to do this, you know, with real basketball. Remember that game that came out before? And it was just like, oh my God, it was so bad. You know, and it wasn't just EA. First it was EA promoting it or something. Then another company took it. And remember they tried to make you bounce your real basketball on a house. And like, come on, man. Like I said, just go out and play. That's all you gotta do. Go out and play. If you love the sport so much, go out and play. And they're talking about how they're gonna have one-on-one, you know, competitions. All right, well, why don't y'all play one-on-one in real life? I don't understand. EA could do so much more with this, but they still are thinking too small. And I understand they want to promote their game and their product, but you can work around that and still promote your product. You can. But it just seems like they're still thinking on this very minimal level. And it's just sad to see. It just is. And we've seen this before with EA, all right? Not just, I want to say, not with basketball, but also with football. Remember when Madden Nation was on ESPN? And all those guys were getting real hype about, you know, I'm the best Madden player, blah, blah, blah. And what happened during that series? One player called another player out who thought he was the best in a one-on-one football game with steady quarterback. And what happened? That guy who thought he was the best got cooked. He was smoked quick. And what did he say? What was his response? Whatever, I'm still the best. And people are like, yo, you just got killed in real football. No one's going to respect you now in the video game football, like, because it's you know, it's a simulation, or so they try to make it a simulation, okay? But it goes to show you, just because you can play these games, you know, sports games in real life, you know, on video games, you know, on the internet, or, you know, in your system, does not mean that it transfers over to real life. Ask any 2K player who tries to spam hop step. Ask them. It doesn't work in real life. You can't keep spamming it, all right? Anyways, and apparently everyone's, you know, 6, 7 foot, you know, and everyone's, you know, yeah, because you're really going to see it everywhere in street ball. 6, 7 foot, 300 pounds, athletic freak, right? You're going to see it everywhere on the basketball court, right? Yeah, okay. Like I said, it's just sad to see this is where it's going. And like I said, I can't even get mad anymore. Like I said, it's so ridiculous that it's just like, whatever. This is going to be a train wreck. That's what it is to me. It's like watching a runaway train. It just, I don't know. Seriously, though, if you're going to, you know, if you love the sport so much, please spend some time playing it. Put some more effort into your real game. That you know. Anyways, also, VR Survios. For those who don't know, VR system Survios gets $4 million in funding. Of course, EA is one of the investors as well, throwing money at this thing. And I've noticed as of late, we've talked about VR last week, and now we're seeing, you know, this huge, you know, explosion of VR, and everyone's saying that it's the future and this is where it's going. I can't help but think that this little guy paved the way for all of us back in the day. Speaking of Nintendo, they just got over another lawsuit, once again, another patent lawsuit from another company. It seems like this is what they do most of the times these days. You know, company after company tries to say, you infringed on our patent, now we're going to sue you, and Nintendo just keeps winning. And it seems like they're spending more time in the courtroom than they are actually making games and quality products and actually pleasing their fans. And we've seen a backlash as of late. And I talked about this before, about the servers going down for the DS and the Wii when it comes to playing online with their games. Well, Nintendo has now cut all online access to DS and Wii games. However, once again, gamers, that's right, have made, was it a homebrew service? That's right, servers, homebrew, for DS and Wii games. So if you still want to play your games online, you can. I will leave the link in the info bar for you, okay? Now also, Oxygen Media, still talking about Nintendo, has been flooding the Miiverse with fake praise and hype for Fit music for the Wii U. And I'm going to leave the link in the info bar. As you can see, this is something they've just been flooding and flooding. I don't understand why this keeps happening. Is this what, you know, the companies have fallen to now? Because, like I said before, you could just make a product and say, hey, buy our product, and it would be well received if it was, you know, quality. Now you have to pay trolls, you know, to promote your product. You have to do all this, you know, media flooding the Miiverse and things of this nature. Like, it should have never come to this. All this to sell products. Like I said, it's no longer about video games and community and, you know, and enjoying your games. This is about how they can get you to buy everything that they put out. The numbers of shareholders and numbers in general are just astronomical these days. They expect such high expectations. It's ridiculous. And I just don't understand this. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is why indie developers start going their own route. And for those who don't know, like I said, those who don't know what I'm talking about, Starfox. A lot of people have been asking for a new Starfox, and it seems like Nintendo is still holding back. Maybe we'll see some at E3, we don't know, okay? But fans have taken it on their own. Indie developers have taken it on their own to be inspired by Starfox to make their own game. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Perseus 2030. Let's see exactly what it looks like. And you can see the slight variations. Because, I mean, come on. This is Starfox, just reskinned with different characters. Clearly, the game is inspired by Starfox. You can see this. These developers, you can see, are putting in work, and they have, the tools to do it. They are directly inspired by it. Clearly, they played Starfox as either kids, or even now they probably still do. That's what, got them to this point. And it's sad to see that with this Kickstarter only having 10 days left, more than likely, it's not going to make gold. So pretty much another, quality game that, gamers, if you're not going to get that Starfox label, you can have the next best thing. It seems like you're not going to get that either. That's sad because we see this, like I said, all the time with shareholders. They want to make sure, if you can't expect gamers to, back everything. You can't. All right, even though there are some quality or unique games out there on Kickstarter. But this is the reason why indie developers go to Kickstarter, because the mainstream industry, when you get these shareholders, they just try to find a way to nickel and dime you. And if you don't believe me, listen to the guys who were working on Pixel Noir. Listen to why they went to Kickstarter as opposed to listening to the shareholders who wanted to back them, the investors.
We showed the investors the prototype, and they loved it. Like, everybody loved it. All the investors looked at us, each one we'd go to week after week, came to us and said, how can we make this more like Candy Crush? We looked at them and were like, but this is an RPG. This is like a story-driven, classic-styled 16-bit RPG. It's not a puzzle game. It's not something that you can... We don't want to make our players buy lives and potions and things like that. After talking about it for a little while, we looked at each other and said, just, fuck it, let's do a Kickstarter.
Also, to let you know, Pixel Noir, which looked like a great detective RPG, 16-bit RPG, did not make gold. However, they said they're still going to make this game. They're going to go through different ways, different channels to get it done, but the Kickstarter failed. So it goes to show you that guys who really have a passion for this stuff, they get the short end of the stick because of the way the business is designed. And nobody's looking to shareholders and saying, hey, what the hell's wrong with you? This is about our community. Stop exploiting us and thinking that you're going to make Call of Duty numbers, or as they would say, Candy Crush, or things like that. Those type of numbers, because it's a different type of game. It goes to show you that these investors, they see one thing and they think that's how all games are. And they know nothing about our culture, our community of video games. They know nothing about it. And it's sad that these are the people who are leading into what we play. And it really shouldn't be that way. But that's just my opinion, I want to keep moving on. So we'll talk about companies that are going to lead, who have led the way at one point, who were a major player in the game, for our community. Atari. That's right. Atari may be building hardware again. That's right. I'll leave the link in the info bar. It's crazy to see this, all right, because they're talking about how, they just don't want to be a software company. They really do want to put out more hardware. We don't know if it's going to happen. But the heads at Atari really do want to make this happen. So we'll see. All right, but I want to move on to more about fans, because this is what it's about. Mega Man. I told you a long time ago when Mega Man Legends 3 was canceled. Fans don't need you, Capcom. Said that before. All right? Fans do not need you, and fans have proven that they don't. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, I showed it over the weekend on the fan page, but for those who didn't, they're not part of the fan page, Mega Man Legends 3, fan-made, coming to you. That's right. And we don't know if Capcom is going to cease and desist this, but I will put the link in the info bar for the trailer video so that you can see it yourself. This is something that fans are doing on their own. Like I said, it's the same thing with Resident Evil Outbreak. They was like, we want this. Capcom wouldn't give it to them. They went and did it again themselves. Mega Man Legends 3, they went and did it themselves. Capcom, why don't you understand? When you have a fan base that is this dedicated, because you can't blame the fans now. You can't say, oh, well, it wouldn't have sold as much. You cannot blame them. They're going out and making this game on their own. It goes to show you the love that this fan base has for Mega Man. I suggest you start listening. That was your downfall before. Now it's time to get your asses in shape. And speaking of that, more fans, all right? Capcom and Sony. Now, I don't know how true this is, but I will leave the link in the info bar, okay? Capcom and Sony is bringing Rival Schools, I mean, Justice, okay, collection to the PlayStation Vita. That's right. This is what was said on Twitter. Now, here's the problem I see with this already within fans. If this is true, the Rival School fan base is going to be extremely upset because it's exclusive for the PlayStation Vita, okay? A lot of people, I'm sure, want this on a console. They want to have online play. They want all the bells and whistles. You're doing this simply so that you can use units for the Vita. So you can buy, move units for the Vita. Like I say, if this is true, because the Vita has had a tough time selling. We know that they had to drop the price, and majority of people are still not sold on it, okay? Going by the numbers, they're not sold on it. So you have to understand why people are going to be very upset about this, right? And I put it like this. I'm one of those people who don't believe in buying, a system just for one game. And I would put it like this. The PSP. When I bought my PSP, I bought it years ago, all right? But I bought Monster Hunter Freedom Unite for it, you get Monster Hunters for it, because that's what I play on there, right? If you look at my time between Monster Hunter and all the other games that I have for the PSP, which is like, Peace Walker, Third Birthday, Midway Classics, all these other games, Phantasy Star Online, stuff like that. If you look at the hours I've logged in on Monster Hunter as opposed to those games, Monster Hunter clearly trumps that. You know what I mean? Now, when they started moving Monster Hunter and they moved to the Wii, I had already had a Wii. So I just went and got Try. You know what I mean? And then they moved it, and then they came out with Monster Hunter Ultimate, Try Ultimate, and then they started moving it to different handhelds and stuff. And I'm like, look, I'm not going to keep buying Monster Hunter, buying handhelds for Monster Hunter. I love Monster Hunter, but I'm not going to follow one game. It's not going to happen. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are going to say, but Event, these other handhelds, they do have a great lineup. And I'm sure they do, but you also have to understand that there's also people out in this world who are not interested in that lineup. You know what I mean? Just to get one game. So, like I said, I always believe that you follow the games wherever you go, whatever console, whatever. But just for one game, I don't think it's going to be that feasible, depending on how much hours you pour into it. I just don't believe, especially for the Wii. There is no reason to cut off Monster Hunter Try servers for the Wii. There really wasn't a real reason. There wasn't. Okay. But we've seen this every time they try to cut something off. Gamers, as I just spoke to you not too long ago, Resident Evil. Now you have the Wii and the DS coming back. So, people find a way around it. And it seems like companies get mad when you find a way around it. There has to be a way to preserve, and a lot of you have said this before, to preserve the online aspect of these games. Because once they go online, you are screwed. All right? And not with Monster Hunter, because that's a single-player game anyway. But there's a couple of these games you'd like to play with your friends. You would. It's just one of those things. But it's just sad that we're seeing this. And also, understand with Rival Schools, Capcom came out in 2009 and said that it will never be on PSN now or ever. I will leave that in the info bar. So I don't know if things have changed since then. I don't know if there was a big money deal. If this is true, we don't know. Okay? But we'll just have to look out for it. And they're talking about this may happen at E3. So we'll see what happens. All right? Now I want to move on. Persona 4. Ultimax is priced at $60, and the pre-orders are now live. But in the in the article, which will be in the info bar, they talk about how they haven't seen any pre-order exclusives yet. Hopefully there won't be, because we've seen this too many times now where certain places get different pre-orders, and pretty much you got to get every game to get those, or you wait for it to come out later, maybe a year later as DLC. makes no sense. It's sad to see. All right, but hopefully there is no pre-order exclusivity. Too much exclusivity, just too much. Left 4 Dead is heading to Japanese arcades, and it looks awesome. That's right, I will put the link in the info bar. It's actually pretty cool. And for those who have not seen the characters also, we talked about this on Twitter. It looks like Kyo from King of Fighters, Chris Redfield. It looks really interesting the way they're putting the characters into this. So, but it's still the same type of gameplay, but the way they have it in the arcades is pretty cool. Now, also, I'm going to talk about Petition. One of you guys sent me a petition to not shut down Gran Turismo 5 servers. So that needs help with a petition. I believe it shouldn't be shut down either. I mean, seriously, let this racing game... I keep want to say Grand Theft Auto. Gran Turismo 5, for those who have not played this online, the options that they gave you online was really cool. The group, hangout. You could drive around, and have your little pacing laps or whatever before you actually start the races and things of that nature. I still play Gran Turismo 5, so it's really fun for me. Especially now that, the F1 races, are now back in, it's that season. So, you get up early in the morning, you play a little bit and call it a day. Also, something that I want to talk about. I'm going to leave this on a high note, all right, because I'm done after this. Scared to Care. We have to talk about this. We talked about not too long ago how, gamers... they never get the credit they deserve when they're actually doing something. We saw last week when Operation Supply Drop was hacked down, for charity. Scared to Care was a 48-hour stream, all right, to fight cancer. And they got a number of YouTubers, a number of players to, have different time shifts to keep playing for 48 hours straight for charity, to raise money. And pretty much flew under the radar. And, even I didn't know about it until one of you guys and girls sent me a message about it yesterday. So, and for what you said, it raised $32,000. You know what I mean? And I even looked up a link for it, and I couldn't even find that. I found that they actually had a 48-hour stream, but not how much that they raised. So it goes to show you that things like this, and these had some big hitters like Markiplier and things like that nature, big-time YouTubers who were helping out, and yet it really didn't get any press. I don't understand this. This is something that should be celebrated. Once again, should be celebrated, should be looked at, but apparently teenager robs bank to buy Xbox One or whatever game system, and that makes the news. It's just sad that we see this time and time again. But, anyways, that is for now. Like I said, I have a lot of things to do. I'm still going to do a sports video this week for you sports fans, and like I said, I'm going to try to do as much as possible this week, and get it all out of the way, and then so that, we can just re-up, reload, and come back, a couple weeks from now and kick some ass. So I will talk to you guys later. Y'all be safe. I got a lot of work to do. I'm out.